Now, I'm just gonna talk about this Bobbi Kristina situation because I feel this just has conspiracy written all over it. A lot of people claim that uh, the husband did this to her. A lot of people claim that the husband drugged her, and he did this for reasons to kill her, and receive the money, the inheritance money that he would receive from Whitney Houston. Well, if we say that, then we're basically saying that the guy Nick Gordon, I believe his name is, got with Bobbi Kristina Brown and plotted to murder her so he can receive money. Now, I believe her net worth is like $5 million or something. So, this guy would murder his wife for $5 million. Do you believe? Now, I know people would say, no, people do that. People plot to kill their husband for the money and all this type of stuff. It's not that simple. They don't just plot to murder them for money. It's something deeper to why they do it. And since these are celebrities, we're going to look into something that we all have a knowledge of, and that's the Illuminati. When you hear people talking about, when you get these cases where somebody murdered their husband, plotted to murder their husband for money and all that type of stuff, no average person would do that. They must be a part of some secret society where they became a part of that secret society, and one of the traditions and rituals of the secret society is sacrificing someone. So that's why they would murder their husband. That's why they would murder their wife and this and that. So, because you can't just say, now these are celebrities, or she is a celebrity, her mother was a celebrity, her father is a celebrity. For her husband to murder her for money, he would be putting himself in hot water. People say that she was found in a bathtub and she was apparently overdosed on drugs. Now, these reports claim that she overdosed, most likely on heroin, cocaine, or Xanax. But family members, her aunt says that she did not drink alcohol or use any illegal substances. Now, I tend to think that her family, due to the passing of their sister, the aunt, and that family, they would be so close to Bobbi Kristina to protect her, and they would know if she was doing drugs or not. I don't think they would deny if she was doing drugs. They would say, well, she did drugs occasionally. They wouldn't deny that. So I believe she didn't do drugs. But it's reported that she used heroin, cocaine, to try to slander her image to make people believe that she would use those drugs because her parents used those drugs. So automatically, when they put the story out that Bobbi Kristina Brown used cocaine and this and that, then they would say, okay, it's a tragic story, but perhaps it's something that runs in the family, or she fell victim to something that her parents did. See, this is how they convince people that she did it. Now I'm going to read a quote from her aunt. Quote, Pat is making sure that it's not a quote from her aunt, but it's a quote about her. Pat is making sure that the police look into what happened to Bobbi, a source said according to Media Takeout. We know it wasn't a drug overdose because Bobbi didn't do any drugs. It's a lot of funny things going on, and Bobbi didn't have a will. So her husband, Nick, gets everything, all the royalties, everything. Bobbi Kristina Brown's net worth is estimated to be anywhere from $20 million to $100 million, with the latter claimed by Media Takeout to be based upon Whitney Houston's net worth at the time of her death. Some reports claim Whitney was flat broke, while others say estate planning saved the family. In addition, Brown and Nick Gordon did not have a prenuptial agreement. Assuming the worst happens, the family is trying to shut Gordon out of any potential estate inheritance battle. Now, here's what I believe. To me, this is basically the Illuminati plotting to make her the next Whitney Houston. Perhaps she could sing, but she didn't want to be a singer, because if she wanted to be a singer, she would have already become a singer by now. So she didn't want to be a singer. They want her to be a singer, so they're going to slander her image, destroy her image, run her through hell, and say, well, why don't you just become a celebrity like your mother and be the next Whitney Houston, and your life can be okay. You can live a good life. She perhaps said, that's not for me, I don't want that. And they probably plotted against her to get her husband to plot against her, to convince her. They probably got into arguments about it. Next thing you know, she's been injected with drugs and has overdosed. Doesn't that sound familiar? Michael Jackson, right? Now, the thing is, I want to compare her to another celebrity. I did a series about her, and her name is Amanda Bynes. A lot of people look at Amanda Bynes and say, well, she's lost her mind, she's gone crazy. She's running around smoking weed and drinking and getting into car accidents, flipping off people, crazy tweets and all of this. But if you recall, since you've come to this understanding that she's that person, so I'm pretty sure you've done some background research on her previous life. And if you look at some of her interviews, she said she doesn't do drugs, she doesn't drink alcohol, she doesn't want that to jeopardize her career. Then all of a sudden, she's doing drugs and what's portrayed to people is she's lost her mind. She's schizophrenic and she's crazy. The problem, I think, what happened is she didn't become the party girl that Hollywood wanted her to be. Because the more drugs you do, the more entertaining, the more animated, the more charismatic you are, and that helps with your Hollywood roles in movies. And they wanted to make her that type of actress, and she just said, well, I have a natural gift. I don't have to be high. I don't have to do coke. I don't have to drink. I don't have to do these drugs to enhance my performances in my roles in movies and shows that I'm in. They didn't like that. So they slandered her image to make her look like she went crazy. And it's similar to what is being done to Bobbi Kristina Brown. They wanted her to be a singer. She said, I don't want to be a singer. So they probably stressed her out. Now that's another thing, a possibility to where they stressed her out and she turned to drugs. But her family says she didn't do drugs. And I'm pretty sure they would know, because put yourself in her position. If your mother and your father, if your mother was a singer, a celebrity, great artist, R&B artist, right? And she passes away due to drug overdose, drug problems. Your family would protect you and say, we gotta keep you in line. We don't want you to fall down a path similar to your mother fell down. You can sing. That's probably not your career choice. We're just going to be protective of you to where you don't fall victim to drugs. So I believe her family when they say she didn't do any drugs. She didn't drink alcohol. She was, pretty good person, morally sound person, stable person. But the reports say that she was using heroin and coke because that's their way. See, the media is a part of that Illuminati society. So they're going to slander her image to make you believe that she used drugs. And you would say, well, what do you expect? Her parents was doing drugs. So she probably fell off on the deep end and started using drugs too. But she has family there to support her. And if you look at her, she didn't look like she had any signs of doing drugs. I didn't know her. I knew they had a daughter. I didn't keep up with her, So I only see previous video clips of her, photos of her. She looks healthy. She looks like a, well-rounded person. All of a sudden, there's a report that their daughter is in the hospital for a drug overdose. I believe that is a plot because the Illuminati is mad that she didn't succumb to their offer of being a new Whitney Houston. It's the same with Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes and Lindsay Lohan was mad that Amanda Bynes, perhaps, there was an interview where the person was asking Amanda Bynes, do you live the Hollywood lifestyle? Do you go out and party? Do you just have a good time? She said, I don't need that. I have good friends. We have a good time. We don't need drugs. We don't need alcohol. We don't need all of that to have a good time. Now, perhaps there was a little beef between Amanda Bynes and Lindsay Lohan. And Lindsay Lohan felt that Amanda Bynes was talking about her and all of those other young celebrities at that time who were out partying, doing drugs, and abusing their talents. So all of a sudden, Lindsay Lohan tweets, oh, I get locked up for possession of drugs and this and that, but Goody Two-Shoes Nickelodeon star hasn't been arrested yet. So it was probably a plot to slander Amanda Bynes' image and destroy her life because they were jealous that she didn't succumb to the drugs, and the Hollywood stress and troubles that they succumbed to. So it's similar to Bobbi Kristina's life because a lot of people wanted her to be the next Whitney Houston, and she didn't want to be the next Whitney Houston. So because it's all about making money off of these celebrities, so they were mad that they couldn't make the money off of her because she didn't want to be the next Whitney Houston. So they're going to do whatever it takes to make her the next Whitney Houston. Now, she's been released off of the medically induced coma now, and whatever happens after this tells how they're going to treat it. Because I tend to think after this happens, if she survives this and she recovers, they're going to continue to try to make her the next Whitney Houston. I don't think she did drugs, and I'll leave it at that. I believe they forced her to do drugs, or somebody injected her with drugs, and now she's struggling with hard drugs in her system to try to recover from.